Bottom line is, do the right thing, do what it takes, and have fun.
Listening is very important.
Just being there for your clients.
You did a great job connecting.
He was enthusiastic, kept our attention, did a good job.
Good message.
Those skills can be used with every client.
Yeah, it was great.
The mediation part is very valuable.
Now in my presentations, I expect some audience participation. So I'm going to ask you to think for a second. I'm going to ask you some questions. Have you ever been in conflict, either like with your leadership at work, people who report to you, people who are your peers, could be different stakeholders, vendors, customers? Have you ever been in conflict with someone in your home life? Your neighbors, your friends, somebody cuts you off on the road? Who has ever had any kind of conflict? Raise your hands. Okay, I noticed that some of you have not raised your hands.
You guys brilliant. It's wonderful information that we can all use.
I thought Mike was great. Just the mechanics of how things escalate and things that we can combat.
The process of being aware of how people think with clients who do have their own conflicts they're dealing with, and they look to you for kind of an arbiter of how they might proceed.
You all have a pocket guide in front of you. Everybody should have one. I hope everybody got one. This little pocket guide, I'd like you to pick it up for a second. Pick up the pocket guide. Everybody should have one. On the pocket guide, I don't want you to do anything but open the front cover, just like this. Just open the front cover. And on the right side it says, helpful questions for exploring interests. Helpful questions for exploring interests. And the first question is, what do you want to have happen?
Oh, I thought it was great. I've kind of done some study in this area. I'm an attorney, and the power of this is, it's sort of amazing, you know, how you can have these people that are so entrenched and supported and all that, but nothing is getting done, and then you apply this technique and stuff happens. I thought it was great.
Oh, it's excellent. Yeah. Just learning how to negotiate. Anybody can do that better. Everyone can do that better.
Very much so.
Yep. Keep us engaged.
Yep.
If we had more time, we'd do this exercise, but we don't. But I'm going to do a virtual exercise with you. I've done this with groups of twice this size, 1,200. I said I want you to pair up with someone else, someone you don't know in the room. And what we're going to do is for 5 minutes, you think of something you have a conflict on. Something at work, something at home, something with a hobby, neighbors, whatever. Think of a conflict. And for 5 minutes, I'm going to ask you to share that with the other person. And with the other person, all you can do is paraphrase, summarize, ask open-ended questions, and empathize. You may not provide any solutions. Everybody got it? Okay, go. After 5 minutes, I try and bring them back. The energy in the room is extremely high, by the way. I bring them back. And I say, okay, let's switch that. Those of you who are speaking, you're now going to listen, and you're going to, again, paraphrase, summarize, ask open-ended questions, and empathize. And they do that. Then I bring them back again. Again, the energy in the room was really high. Why? Because they've all been listened to. Remember that? Relationships, listening, they've been listened to. And then I ask them, how do you feel? And they come back, we feel good. They yell back, great, I feel good. And then I ask them, when's the last time somebody listened to you for 5 minutes? Yeah, I hear some chuckles. They shake their head and go, yeah, nobody ever listens to me for 5 minutes. It just doesn't happen. And then I ask them, when's the last time you listened to somebody for 5 minutes that you were in conflict with? When's the last time you listened? You really listened to that other party so they could tell you what they really think without interrupting them. And you did what? You paraphrased, you summarized, you asked open-ended questions, and you empathized. It's all about values. It's not about beliefs. We heard that earlier. So that's the exercise. Now the question. The keys to active listening are, make sure I tell the other person my point of view, paraphrase, summarize, ask open-ended questions, and empathize, talking more to make sure I'm understood, providing solutions from my perspective. And you know the answer is paraphrase, summarize, ask open-ended questions, and empathize. That's what you want to do. That's what we're called upon to do.
Mike was great. He had some really great ideas that not only relate to business but also your personal life, to be able to take away and help with conflict resolution and all sorts of avenues.
He has a very kind of a quiet, calm personality, but a lot of force, and he's a very thoughtful guy with very powerful examples.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. The order of events. First establishing the relationships, then listening, then education, then negotiation. So it was really good.
I thought he was excellent. Obviously had a very technical background, and then the way that he came to the subject, neuroscience education, very much grounded in research, I thought was very, very good.
Now, if I ask you how many sides are there to a coin, many of you would say 2. Some of you would say 3. I'll come back and say, well, yeah, there are 3. But I bring this up because if I'm in conflict with someone, I have my perspective, you have your perspective, I think I'm right, you think you're right, but the truth is somewhere between what either one of us doesn't know. We need to find out what that is. We need to do that in order to resolve a conflict.
He himself personally was engaging in really fairly complex information and brought it down to some really key elements. That was very powerful. I thought he did an excellent job.
He had very practical things to give us, not only in terms of handouts, but just practical advice when it comes to settling mediation, whether it's personal or also within the office or client situations. So I thought it was very, very good and actionable.
Very good.